Most Eastern European countries share the same Slavic ethnicity, language, and heritage. However, Eastern European nations do not all share the same writing system. The fact that Eastern Europe is divided between Cyrillic script and Latin script sparks the question, why do Eastern European countries use different alphabets? Both the Latin and Cyrillic scripts can trace their origin to the Greek alphabet. The Latin script was first developed by the future Romans in the 7th century BC in central Italy. The Cyrillic script can trace its origins to the Byzantine monk brothers Cyril and Methodius, who, in the 9th century AD, began a mission to evangelize the Slavs. The brothers found that the Greek alphabet was not adequate to represent many of the sounds of Slavic languages. Thus, they devised a new alphabet that would be the base for the modern Cyrillic script. The spread of the Latin and Cyrillic alphabets can be linked to the expansion of Western and Eastern spheres of Christendom. The differing Latin tradition of the Western Church and the Greek tradition of the Eastern Church caused disputes about the interpretation of the Gospel and how to practice the faith. These disputes ultimately resulted in the permanent separation of the Western Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox churches in 1054 in the Great Schism, the effects of which can still be seen today. Eastern European nations were historically linked to Byzantium, and thus remained in the Eastern Church, whose scripts were Greek and Cyrillic. The Latin script remained the script of the Western Church. Thus, Catholic nations in Eastern Europe, such as Croatia, Czechia, and Poland, began to transition away from Cyrillic and towards the Latin script after the Great Schism. Thus, religion was a key factor in determining which script would be used in which country. However, there are several Eastern Orthodox countries that write their language in the Latin script. Romania is one example. Romania began using the Cyrillic script in the 9th century AD, but prior to the introduction of Cyrillic, the Latin-based Romanian language was written in the Latin script. In the 1860s, Romania began to transition back toward the Latin alphabet to preserve their distinct identity, and the Latin script is used in Romania today. In several Balkan nations, both Cyrillic and Latin are official. This is primarily the result of the union of these Balkan nations in the plurinational Yugoslavia. Catholic Croatia had used the Latin alphabet since the 12th century. Thus, in Yugoslavia, both the Latin and Cyrillic scripts were official. After the breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s, Serbia, Montenegro, and Bosnia continued to use both the Cyrillic and Latin scripts. After initially considering the idea of adopting the Latin alphabet, the Soviet Union began to heavily promote the use of Cyrillic in the smaller nations that composed it, and languages originally written in the Latin script or Arabic script were translated into the Cyrillic script. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Moldova and Azerbaijan translated their languages back into the Latin alphabet, but Belarus, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan still retain their Cyrillic scripts. Ukraine has entertained the idea of transitioning to a Latin script since the 19th century, when a translation between Ukrainian Cyrillic and the Latin script was first created. This change would draw Ukraine closer to the West, which could make it an attractive choice for the country. In 2017, the president of Kazakhstan announced his goal of translating the Kazakh language into the Latin script by 2025. Even after all the centuries that these two scripts have existed, their status is not set in stone. It will be interesting to see how these two important writing systems will continue to be used in the years to come. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to support more videos like this. See you in the next video.